Okay, so I think my sound and everything. I bought a new uh, headset and mic set, so I'm kind of field testing it out. So as far as I know, everything should be hunky dory. Um, all right. So, my name is Storm. Storm Chandler. I'm in Tucson, Arizona. Uh, I wanted to get into something kind of close to me for those that are following. Um, the people that know me, there was some new stuff that came my way that I wanted to get into. For the people that don't, welcome back. This is my life, and I have a tendency to overshare maybe sometimes. So I don't know. You might find it interesting or in some way maybe helpful with a little bit of luck. Um, I have gone through. For those that know and for those that don't, I'll fill you in briefly because I also at the same time I don't want to drag it out either. Um, had been involved in a relationship that I was deeply uh, entwined with somebody that was narcissistic and abusive, and it took a while for me to put it together and to figure it out. Um, and so since then, the relationship is dissolved. I was uh, forced into a reverse discard situation, which is the way that he, seems to operate. All the signs were there, all the red flags were there, and in the moment, over time, I just didn't get it, and some of that is my fault. Um, However, that's not exactly what I wanted to get into today, right now. Um, so, those that know me, I'm into free speech. Within terms of the law, and as long as it's reasonable, everyone's got a right to say whatever it is they want to say. As long as it's not producing some sort of harm. Um, because that's what our country is. You're allowed to criticize. You're allowed to call somebody out and say that they're an asshole, and raise awareness on certain issues, or talk about your life, if you choose to, because that's everyone's fundamental right. However, excuse me, that right changes. It stops when you start saying things that are deliberately kind of vicious or deliberately kind of mean or truth slanted. And my ex, as warned by my therapist, that my doctors that are seeing me, people that I talk to on a professional basis, that have been helping me learn about narcissism and narcissistic abuse and what it is and how to recognize it. And we're dealing with the narcissistic fallout, learning to trust again and all that stuff. And so, um, one of the things that I'd been warned about is that 9 times out of 10, when these relationships dissolve, it ends in a bizarre kind of way, in the sense of um, it's not the ideal, you go your way and I'll go mine kind of thing, and you kind of part ways and you never see each other again, which is generally, the best, right? I mean, depending upon you and what you wanted or how you wanted it to go. But that rarely happens in these, abusive style relationships, because there's a lot of emotion involved. There's a lot of investment involved, and there's a lot of yourself that's put into it. And so generally it doesn't end peacefully, unfortunately. What usually ends up happening statistically is that the victim is taken for a ride, and the narcissist usually either tricks you into discarding them, or you're outright discarded and they leave you. They leave you for somebody else. And it's usually quick, it's usually sudden, it's usually out of the blue. And, that's for the stun effect. That's to really get the impact on the victim, on the person. But in this situation, this is a reverse discard situation where they trick you into throwing them out so that it allows them to continue playing the story of the victim, where you're the asshole, you're the one that ended the relationship, you're the jerk, you're the one that wasn't doing something right because they can't handle responsibility. They can't handle being adult enough to say, I'm not happy. I want out of the relationship. I think it's time for me to collect my shit and, move on. Um, like most of us adults do and should. I've been there where I've had relationships end, and you sit down with them and you say, I love you, and but I don't think I'm getting my needs met, or I'm not happy, or you know whatever it is that's going on, right? And you sit down over that beer, that glass of wine, or you sit down outside somewhere in a calm kind of way and going, you know, I don't think this is going to work. And so anyway, you get the idea. And for the most part, that's how a lot of my relationships have been, even when they've ended. They've ended kind of peacefully, where there was a conversation, and you don't seem to be happy with me, or I'm not happy with you, or this is not changing and going the way that it needs to, or that I'd like it to, and we should just part ways. And this situation is a situation where they use psychology and manipulation to get you to do what they wanted you to do because they're too scared to do it themselves. And so, over a period of 4 years um, of lies and manipulation and narcissistic behavior and narcissistic abuse, cheating, micro cheating, um, all the stuff that kind of comes with that general scheme of the narcissistic personality, I decided that I had it enough. I was done. They weren't going to change. They weren't getting it. It was getting worse. And so I ended it. But during that period of time, though, excuse me, during that period of time, though, there were a couple of times where he was deliberately being antagonistic, pushing my buttons, trying to incite some sort of a confrontation. And it's on purpose. It's calculated. It's on purpose. It's on purpose to push you to see how far you will go. And me being me, and like probably a lot of men, probably a lot of guys, there's only so far that I'm going to be allowed to be pushed. Certainly in my own house. It took me a little a quick minute to figure out, you're not going to abuse me in my own house. That's just not going to happen. Um, I'm kind of a stand your ground type of person, and so you have to understand. Um, I'm also fairly intellectual. I'm fairly emotional. I I've resolved. I have a mind. I know how to communicate, and in that, you're telling them, stop harassing me, stop running me into the ground. You're not going to run my family into the ground. You're not going to bring my family into this. You're not going to bring my heritage into this. This is not about me being from the South. This is not about you, and it's subterfuge. They start looking for things to pull out to criticize you with and to make it about you, when your complaint or your problem or whatever that you're trying to address with them, you know, this is an issue, this is a thing, we need to sit down and talk about it. This is causing stuff, this is causing problems. And instead of hearing it, they get mad. They get angry. They get defensive. They start deflecting. They start wanting to turn it around and make it about you, which is not what the conversation was supposed to be about anyway. But because they're immature and because they're injured emotionally, they've had past abuse that they can't get over. They're not ready to look at it yet. It's their way to deflect and make it about you to avoid dealing with the issue. And so it goes from you trying to initiate a conversation into what an asshole in some way you are. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Where did we go from, a simple thing like when you get out of the shower, okay, don't bring half the ocean with you. There's a bunch of water in the floor. Can you please go in the bathroom and clean this up so there's not standing water in the floor? So when I go to the bathroom, I don't slip and fall and break my neck and put out my eye and end up in the emergency room because you were careless and reckless, right? It starts off as a simple thing and then they go into, well, you're making a big deal. And why are you criticizing me? And why don't you take it down a notch? And, why are you being so aggressive? And why are you, talking to me that way? And where did this go from, please pick up the water in the bathroom floor, to this whole dramatic other thing that it wasn't even about? And so that's just one example that I can give in describing my interactions with him. And that's one of the reasons why I ended up ending the relationship, because they don't process the way that the rest of us process. It becomes a very victim sensitive contact. No matter what you say or do, it becomes a victim sensitive contact. And they will turn around and try to attack you. So, in that, what I'm saying is, over a period of 4 years, we did have three, count them, three physical fights during the course of our relationship. I can tell you about each and every one of them because I remember them clearly. But it's because he was becoming abusive to me, and I'm not going to stand on being abused in my own house. When I say stop, that's what stop means. Stop. I don't want to hear this right now. Stop. Let's deal with it later. Stop. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Why don't you go for a walk? Why don't you clear your head? Why don't you go to the gym? Why don't you go to your bike and ride around the block a couple of times? There were several different ways that I tried to diffuse those emotional tensions. But because narcissists can't handle and regulate themselves, they continue to push and push and push. And that's what it's to get a reaction out of you. And I didn't know this then, but I'm better educated now because I'm working with doctors. I'm working with people that are in the field that know this behavior, and this is what's been told to me. Um, and so they continue to push. And, you know, I'm no different than anyone else. I'm no different than any of you. After a while of being pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, you're pushed into a confrontation, and I lost my temper. That's just the plain simple truth. I am not perfect. I am not God. I am not an angel. But I do my best to, treat people as well as they treat me. And, you know, I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying that it was the most mature thing to do. I'm not saying that it was justified. But what I'm saying is that I'm also not going to be abused in my house. I'm disabled. I don't have anywhere else to go. Everything that you see here in this room is pretty much everything that I own, that I have struggled and worked for very, very hard over the course of 30 years. And I'm not going to have it fucked up by someone who's got problems and issues. So, um, a couple of my friends on Facebook, as well as one of his friends, and I use that term loosely because apparently he can't even trust his own friends, but that's another thing. Three different people have come to me on Facebook saying, Storm, did you know that he's saying that you beat him? Are you aware of the fact that he's going on Facebook and saying that you beat him like Farrah Fawcett from the burning bed? And I'm embarrassed. I'm angry. I'm upset. He's telling people that I'm this, like, raging redhead that's violent and abusive and whatever. But see, he did a post talking about it the week of our anniversary after, I put him out. And, he went into how he was so happy, and I'll put the post up because I've got it. One of his own friends sent it to me. So, I mean, I have it, but I'll share it. But how, it was just toxic positivity. It was just fake positivity. It's a ploy that he's using to get attention and to gain sympathy. He's working on the next target. He's working on the next victim. And he's using my name, his sad story, to justify it. And I don't think that's right. I'm not going to have, you know, our relationship, I'm not going to have my name, my image used in a way to manipulate someone else into feeling sorry for him so that he can set up the next victim. And that's not okay. If he wants to go on Facebook and I'm an asshole, and I'm a dick, and I'm a douche, and, you know, he didn't love me and the sex was bad and whatever, I don't care. I don't care. He is allowed to say whatever it is, bullshit shit he wants to say on his page. I don't care. That's fine. That's his right. That's his legal right. That's cool. He's welcome to put up whatever it is he wants to put up. That's not what that's about, though. He's taking things that happened during the course of 4 years. Now, again, 3 and 4 years. 3 and 4 years. And there were heated moments. The third time is when I found out that he had lied to my face and was talking to some dude in Florida behind my back on his phone, and they're sending smutty pictures to each other while he's in my house, right? So, and then I asked him about it, and he lied to me twice, and I got upset. And when I got upset, that's when I was able to pull it out of him, and I made him give me his phone so I could look and verify and check for myself. And there it all was, pictures for over 6 months behind my back, up in my house, and I'm feeding him, I'm clothing him. I gave him $3,000 to get here, to start over, to start a new life, and that this is what I get for it: lies and cheating and manipulation. So yeah, I was angry. You would probably have been angry too. So I just wanted to clarify that and to say that, that's all it was. This was not a everyday abuse kind of situation. That is not the way he is painting it. He's painting it as a ploy for sympathy and attention, and it's all fake. It's not all true. He's bending the truth, and I'm not going to have my name used, our relationship used to abuse someone else. So if you were hearing this, woe is me, woe is me, I was the poor abused victim story out of him. My name is Storm Chandler. I'm in Tucson, Arizona. Um, in private, I will be happy to give you my phone number and I can tell you about Andrew and what our relationship was like. And I will tell you the truth, the total, all the rest of the truth. You can hunt me down on Facebook, you can hunt me down on YouTube. I will tell you the truth if you want to hear truth. But I'm going to tell you that parts of it are not going to be pretty. Now, again, I'm going to say I'm not perfect. I am not a divine being. I have my share of flaws and I have my share of problems too. And I will be the first one to tell you that. But what he's saying is not right. And I'm not going to roll over for it. I'm not going to have my name smeared. I'm not going to be painted to be that kind of person. Um, it's not true. The people that really know me know that's not true. My family knows me, knows that that's not true. But I'm also not going to allow myself to be abused either. So there's the other side of that too. So, like I said, this is not a tit for tat thing. I don't give a fuck what he says on his page. I could care less. He can go fuck purple dwarves if he wants, and that's cool. That's his business. But I'm not gonna have what I went through, what we went through, used in a way to be weaponized to hurt somebody else. And so what you do from that point forward is up to you. I'm just telling you. But you know, um, that's all I kind of had to say. Um, he's setting up his next victim. He's setting up more drama, and so anyway, you're welcome to believe whatever it is that you want to believe. If you're willing to buy into that whole sad story thing, but I just wanted to come on and say that that's not entirely true, and it's manipulating. And he's setting up his next target. He's setting up his next victim, and if you're not careful, he'll do it to you. Because that's what they do. They can't accept accountability. They can't accept responsibility. They can't admit where they're wrong, and so they shift blame on to someone else to make you look bad. And lo and behold, that's what he did. I mean, the doctor called it, my counselor called it, the books that I've read have called it, and so that's all that is. It's an attempt to set someone else up so that they can get there. You're the poor victim in all of this, and then they've got you. They now have the door open that you've opened to let them in, and they've got you. So I'm just saying, it's not entirely true, and uh, Mazel Tov. That's that. Um, you know, um, what are you gonna do? Um, so anyway, I just wanted to clarify that up. Like I said, I'll share the actual post and picture that he had put up, and which is how I learned about all of it. And so I just wanted to address it. I just wanted to say it, and I'm not going to get into it again. So I made my point. I'm going to go ahead and get off here and start my day, and kind of get on with the rest of my life. But I just wanted to put that out there and let everybody know. And for the record, um, in this whole kind of abuse thing, folks should know. You know, I'm 5'4" and 110 pounds, and it's not as if I'm really capable of doing any kind of yeah. So anyway, yeah, just beware. That's all I'm saying. Just beware of the whole victim story thing because it's not entirely true. I told and said what I had to say, and I don't have anything else to say on it. So, with that, y'all have a good day and be careful out there. And you know, think good things and do good deeds. Peace.